Hello everyone, Dungeon Frog here, and it's again time for Dual Strike. One of my favorite skills is again in the Allflame League pretty good, and it's also a pretty good budget skill at the moment. We are playing an Occultist and hitting twice with our Frost Breath hammers. But you might think, oh, so you're doing a cold build? No, this is actually a full fire build, and we double up our full damage. And I think Dual Strike is in this league pretty good because we get free quality from the new green sockets. And Dual Strike is one of the best skills with scales with quality. So it gets extra damage on enemies that are on full life. And that makes it to a pretty damaging skill. It's, like I said, pretty budget, like our weapons 1C, our belt 1C, our amulet could be 1C if you buy a bad one. And yeah, I mean, then you need to fill some stats, but overall, pretty cheap skill build. You can play it even pretty early because, like, the hammer combo is available on level 50. The belt, which I'm wearing just now, is for level 79. So that's our last item. I just wore a regular belt with helping me to get some strength because while leveling this character, you have to take care. And while I'm talking a bit about this build, I just run around and show you how this build works. So we pretty much do strike around, and most of the time we can just hit enemy and it's usually enough damage. But if you think there is a harder enemy, you press your ambush skill. With it, you pretty much have 100% guaranteed crit, and then you really strike heavy. We are building up our power charges. From there, most of our damage comes, most of our AoE scaling comes from there. I'm still leaking the Tribal Fury Ascendancy node, so I'm using at the moment melee splash, which is a bit suboptimal, but we are actually level 79, and it's a really fun build. I didn't have much problems with the build so far. You need to be a bit careful with your life, like pressing your life flask sometimes. Leveling itself, I leveled till level 50, 51 with Eternal Knife because it's a physical skill, so it scales pretty much the same as our main skill, and we can opt into it as the witch pretty good, and also don't need much respecking. I will tell about that a bit later in detail when I'm showing the skill tree. But yeah, I think the new league is pretty good. I think it gives you a lot of free stats and free items. So pretty good league. And yeah, let's check. Now we are here, I guess somewhere as the boss. Let's try to ambush him. Here you need to, okay. Not the perfect boss to ambush. Yeah, that could be cooler. Usually you try to like ambush that one boss. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good build. Having fun, and as you can see, I think the mobs are pretty fine. So yeah, let's look into the POB, what the build has to offer. So, and you first see this is a glass cannon. And that's pretty much the idea about this build. We go in and kill things before they kill us. The damage is a bit inflated because, like, on the first hit, which actually does most of the damage, we won't actually have the exposure up. So, but it's actually pretty hard to get it off again without turning my gloves off. So it's a bit less damage because, yeah, you can't put it through. But actually, I think like my frost breaths are pretty much basic frost breaths. And as always, I'm using like basic stats, like nothing higher mostly. I guess for some reason I have this one higher. But yeah, we are using pretty much average sets and no flasks up. And here is the build. Like I said, I actually did start even like this, put a point here, and Eternal Knife goes brr, where we get this node. Oh, I actually don't have those nodes. I'm not sure if they are even worth it. Those 3 I don't have at the moment. Not sure if we need it. Maybe we could turn them off and get some defenses. Yeah, maybe we should get some defenses like this wheel. I was already looking at it, but I didn't have the points for it. So this one is really, really good for the build. But yeah, let's go on. We run here, get the less mana cost up. If we have a Watcher's Eyes, it would be nice. There's also one with extra fire damage. We want somewhere some life leech, but I actually don't have the Watcher's Eyes now. But I found a tattoo which gives me 0.5 attic damage leached as damage for a strength node, so that's also pretty fine. The golem node, I also don't have it at the moment, but yeah, you could go for it at some point to run double golems, which I probably will at some point because with a Chaos Golem we not only get extra damage, but I'm leaking some Chaos resistance in my build. And yeah, then you need to do a lot of traveling. At some point you might even drop those 2 if you have enough stats, but as we need dex and strength for our main skill and our weapon, yeah, they are pretty important. You want the extra fist to fire, that's a lot of damage. Exploding helps us with some clear. Chill, I just recently picked it. Gives us big chills with our damage. And then we go to the Templar, have some options where we get some resistances like this node and this node. You could I went for this node for extra strike. I first went here, was my plan, but I think this helps with clear a lot. And of course, Avatar of Fire helps us with fire all in all. And yeah, that's pretty much the build. I think it's pretty good. Like I said, defense probably the worst part of it. So probably gets this node. Maybe even earlier because like you have usually enough damage for everything and could switch around a bit. If you have enough fire resistance, this node also becomes pretty bad if you don't need the fire resist. So you could spec out of this node, go here 2 points and then get the explosion here or here. I think this one might be better because like I value some defense as a former hardcore player a lot. Just to look at it, we need power charges. We actually want to be fortified. How do we do this? Let's look at our dual strike and its sockets. It's dual strike, elemental attack, power charge, fortify, increase critical inspiration. I think I don't run ele damage at the moment, and I'm running melee splash, which you need. You need to mule a bit with for this character, but you can get all in the bibliothek in Act 3, and I think you only need to do for ambush the quest in Act 5. So that's the only item which is a bit harder to get if you trade. Yeah, you can just trade it. I think the most important one is power charge and critical, because even with Occultist, you need definitely the power charges. So we went here first to get actually the power charge scaling. Then I went this one for some sustain. And I'm now here for the double curse setup, which helps a lot. And this one will help at some point with the clear. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. I think I said overall everything. Yeah, how is your league start? What do you think about the build? I probably will do another video at some point about this build, because like I'm level 79 at the moment, and yeah, I want to look how good it is overall. If we go into the later maps, how good the damage keeps on going, and probably will make a quick review, maybe even in the next build. I don't know. I have plan for a pretty fun one, I guess. But yeah, if you want to see this and more PoE content and Grim Dawn content at the moment, then leave a follow, leave a comment, leave a like. Thank you for watching.